Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and welcome back to our election discussions for 2020. And today I finally updated my model for quarter two. I'm kind of officially beginning October, even though we're 2 days early. I figured this is a little bit, I figure it was time anyway, and it helps just compress everything so the rolling average keeps rolling. By the way, before I get too far into the analysis I've kind of done, likes, comments, subscriptions, they always do help, and I greatly appreciate them. Down in the description, there's a link to my presidential election model that I use to look at where the state of the race is, and that's here, and all the data that exists within it. And also a link to my Patreon. I'd greatly appreciate any help there. Somewhere on my channel is a link to my Twitter. And yeah, so I decided to look and see why Biden all of a sudden jumped to a massive lead from what looked like to a very competitive election, especially in the key battleground states. And the answer I came up with was, back when I first noticed it, was that I thought it was more of a Trump drop than a Biden bump. And my opinion on that has relatively stayed the same. In most states, the difference between how Trump was doing in, quarter one in most polls versus how Biden was doing was fairly consistent. And then the difference between Trump's performance fell off dramatically from quarter one to quarters 2 and 3, and Biden only got a very modest bump at best. In some places it was nothing. And part of that may be a kind of a dearth of polling in most of the second quarter. But overall, it definitely was a story of Trump's numbers falling rather than Biden surging. And I think that's partially why we're still talking about a very competitive race. And there is an unusually high number of undecideds at this time in quite a few places. Arizona is a battleground state, and the expected undecided / other, this is currently what I'm using is undecided / other. Arizona, 4%. Let's go to the next battleground state. Colorado really isn't a battleground, but there's still almost 5% there. Florida, that's actually fairly low, but Florida's a well-known swing state. Georgia, same thing. Some Democrats may be looking to Indiana. It's a decently high number, but I don't really see that as significant. Did I include Kamala? Yes. Okay, I did include Kamala there. Iowa, 4.2% undecided. Maine, 4.19%. Michigan and Minnesota, both are in the 4% range. I could go on, and not much changes when you go over here. You get a slightly higher number, 6% undecided in Arizona. In most places, you get a higher number. Colorado, 5%, 5.5%. That's a lot, right? Florida, 4.3%. In Georgia, 5.14%. Iowa, 5% undecided. Maine, let's look at Maine, 5%. Michigan, 7.53%, and that's more than enough for the Trump to win in Michigan. For 4.7% in Minnesota, that's not enough to flip a state, but it's enough to make it very tense on election night. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people are speaking about this race with a much higher degree of certainty than I think they should be. And I've been saying this for a while now, that someone's going to wind up with a lot of egg on their face because there's a lot of undecideds. And in 2016, they said they weren't for Clinton. They really weren't for Clinton, and we may be seeing a repeat of that where they say they're not for Biden and they're not. We'll see whether or not that holds true, obviously. The safe betting odds definitely are on Biden to win, but they're not that safe, in my opinion. And I think everybody was calling me absolutely crazy for saying that the Republicans were going to hold the Senate all throughout 2018 when I just didn't see a realistic route for the Democrats to take the Senate. You know, everybody was telling me I was wrong for being so confident about Tennessee from just going to Tennessee and seeing what the situation was on the ground. They were like, you're way too confident. It's probably going to go Republican, but it's going to be competitive and it's going to be in the lane. Turns out Marsha Blackburn blew out Phil Bredesen. People were calling me crazy about calling Missouri for Josh Hawley. And I was right about John Tester. About the only two states I got wrong were Florida and Indiana, at least in the Senate. So, when I say something just doesn't seem right, there's good reason to trust my instinct on that. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Take it easy. Have a very nice evening. And I'll see you not after the debate tomorrow. I'll see you to do a breakdown of the debate on Wednesday. And I hope y'all are looking forward to that. I hope y'all watch that. Should be interesting at the very least. Take it easy, y'all. Bye-bye.